So I will start the presentation. Today I am proud to have here with us Nadzeya. It's located in Lithuania right now, and she will present us how to BA collaborate with devs, tips and tricks. It will be very good for sure. Let me make some announcements before we started. A recording will be provided after this presentation. And at the end of the presentation, we will have a Q&A session. So please send your questions to the chat and we will give the answer after the presentation. And as usual, at the end, the speaker, so today Nadzeya, will be choosing the best question and the author will receive a badge. So it's a very good compensation. So Nadzeya, thank you for being here with us. Please, the stage is yours.
Okay, Francisco, thank you very much. Thank you everyone who joins us today. So I would like to say a few words about myself in the beginning of the presentation, so you could understand who I am. So I am a senior business analyst, and I'm together with EPAM for more than 5 years. And I have experience in telco domain and workforce management domain, and actually I was working with telecom companies for more than 2 years, 10 years. And here you can see some interesting facts about my work. So first of all, I would like to mention that I had very interesting experience working on site with and working with 100% clients team for more than 1 year. It was a very interesting experience because like I was the only business analyst from EPAM, and I had to set all the processes and find ways to communicate with customers, developers, customers, QA teams. Also, I would like to mention that I had an experience collaborating with up to 3 EPAM teams at the same time. So it sometimes it was quite challenging. And right now I'm leading a project with several teams distributed in different time zones, and some of those teams are customers teams, not only EPAM teams. So today I'm going to tell you how we can collaborate with developers, and it's absolutely 100% goes from my work experience. So today will be no theory, just some tips and tricks from my practice. And hopefully right now you can see on your screens the agenda. So today I would like to describe you several cases, what can happen with business analysts on the project, and how it's possible to set an effective communication with all the team and specifically with developers. And in the end, I will give some general advices for any case. So, and the first case I would like to share with you today is probably the most common case when business analysts can face that developers don't understand what is the value of the business analyst on the project. And here on the slide, you can see 2 columns because there can be 2 cases why developers don't value. Yeah, so the first variant is that there was no business analyst on the project, so business analyst role was distributed among team members. So developers just don't know how they can help the team. Yeah, and the second case is that actually they had experience working with business analysts, but some of their previous business analysts was not so good. So that's why they don't value business analysts, because experience wasn't so good. And let's start probably with the case when there was no business analyst on the project. And of course, we are not saying that you're not doing your job well. Of course you do, but developers just don't know how to communicate with you. They don't call you, they don't text you, they don't invite you to some meetings because they didn't get used to. So what could you do in such situations, and what I did? So try to demonstrate how much time now will be available for them for feature implementation, because they don't have to spend time on investigating requirements, discussing them with clients and so on. So now they will have time for real development. Yeah, so this is the first value for them. Also try to show them a bigger picture, because it's not just your person who arranging meetings, writing meeting notes and so on. They have to understand that your work will help to reduce their rework. It will help to reduce change requests. It can prevent scope creep and increase customer satisfaction. So don't be shy to speak up and to show them the benefits from your work. Also try to explain what are the benefits exactly for developers they can receive after you set up all the processes. Yeah, and for that purpose, I would like you to join the link that probably was provided to the chat by Francisco, or you can use the direct mentee.com and use this code you can see on your screen, because I would like you to share some of your opinion. What do you think will be the real value for developers when they have a business analyst on the project, and the business analyst does the work well? So what are the benefits, not for the project, not for the client, but for developers themselves? So please don't be shy to answer this question. For me, it's very interesting to see your opinion. What do you think, how you can demonstrate the value for developers? I think we can spend like few minutes, so you can enter the mentee.com and you can type some of your answers. You can type more than one answer. So let's wait a bit. Oh, so Vera is saying that is redirected to not allowed to type anything. Oh, I'm sorry for that. Okay, guys, so let's probably try to type something just straight to this chat, okay? So not to spend time for trying to understand what's going on with the Mentimeter, okay. So can you type your answers to the Teams chat then? Okay. So I see Pavel answers. Thank you. You're the first person. Thank you for answering. So Pavel is saying that the great value for developers that they don't need to communicate with business. So yeah, sometimes it's a real value for developers because some of them are not really people who like to talk. Yeah, they like coding, but they don't like to communicate. Okay. So Vasil, thank you for your answer. Provide better understanding of business goals and targets. Yeah, this is the really nice answer because sometimes developers really don't understand what are they doing and what is it for, and it's very valuable for them to understand what is the product and to understand that they do something really great. Vera, thank you very much for your answer. And translated from business language to developers language. Yeah, so it's easier, it becomes easier for developers to work so they understand better what actually they have to do. Yaroslava, thank you very much for your answer. Yeah, I can see some of similar answers. Okay, clear requirements, of course, best results. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for your answers. So everyone who wants to share opinion more, please don't be shy and put your answers to the chat. But what I would like to share as well from my perspective, what developers also can receive after you do your work well. So of course, if they don't rework, if they don't rework what they done, so it leads to some good atmosphere, some good environment in the team. So all the team become more relaxed and they like to do their work. They like to start their working days because they understand that now they can just do their work with no stress or with less stress. And it's a really great value. And one more thing that after all the processes are set, customers start to trust to the team more, which leads to that fact that team is gonna make after that more decisions on their own. Of course, it's not on all projects, but sometimes when customer is very satisfied, when everything is good, everything is done on time and according to the requirements, clients start to give more initiative to the team. So developers would start to make their own decisions, to propose more, and it's very inspiring for them as well. Okay, so and the last point is that there will be less talks in their lives. I think, guys, you already mentioned that. So, okay, let's probably finish with this part and move to the next part, which connected that previous BA was not so good. So, of course, sometimes it may happen, and the first thing that I would advise in this case, that you never, ever judge the previous BA's actions with other people, with this team, with developers and so on, because it's not actually your aim. You shouldn't be focused on some negativity, and of course with no gossips. So just find out with what developers were unhappy, and try to understand how you can do their life better, how you can meet the expectations within a short time. Because sometimes you can do in the beginning just small things, just change the structure of user stories, provide them more information about priorities, be more proactive on internal groomings, and it will change their minds. Yeah. And of course, the next tip is try to say more about what you're going to do. Demonstrate your results just with small steps, because when you do all your work in a silence and, for example, just give some results after 1 month or something like that, during that month people don't understand what's going on, and of course they continue to be nervous because they had some bad previous experience. So they will think that maybe right now you're doing something not very well. So just provide them more information. They could clearly understand that you're doing good, and everything will be good as well. Let's move to the next slide, which is also connected with the first case when developers don't value business analysts. So more tips, just be proactive. This is especially advice for junior or middle business analysts, when you guys sometimes may believe that you are not very experienced. So you cannot set effective processes. You try to ask, what should I do from the team? Just be proactive. Start to do something, because of course you can do something better. You can adjust processes if needed, schedule necessary meetings, even if team never had those meetings before, for example, or never invited some people before. Or don't be shy to speak up and say that probably some people are not necessary for these meetings. Yeah, so we can have meetings without them. Just be proactive. And the next tip is persistence and regularity. So even if you do your work great, even if you do this like from day to day, just don't expect the team is quickly will change their minds and start collaborating with you. Sometimes it takes time, but time will pass and they will understand the value of you. So just do what you want to do every day. The next tip is find an ally. So sometimes it is better to melt developers' heart. For example, if some of the team members, especially if it's a team leader, understands your value. So you can start with some person, persuading this person that you're doing your job well, showing that there is a value from you on the project. So this person will start to promote you within the team. And of course, the power of one-to-one communication. Sometimes for some people, easier to understand what you want to tell them when you have just a short call one-to-one. So you can tell them and show your value. Okay, let's probably move to the next case I would like to share with you, because developers sometimes may shy or even afraid of business analysts. I don't know if you ever faced such situation on a project, and I would encourage you to share your opinion. Okay, guys, again, to the Teams chat. So we are sure that we will get your answers here. If you ever faced some situation, because this situation may be more rare than the previous one, if you face some situation, or you can just imagine in your mind, why may this happen? Why may developers be shy to contact business analysts? Why they may be afraid to communicate with business analysts? Please put some of your opinion to the chat. It's very interesting for me to see. What do you think on that? Okay, let's wait probably 1 or 2 minutes if you would like to share your opinion on that. Okay, Yaroslava, thank you very much. It was the first. They may think that they are too skilled, so they don't need business analyst, yeah. Okay, Vasil, developers might not be familiar with a particular domain. Yeah, thank you, Pavel. Some developers are more introverted, so they may treat business analyst as a stranger. Yeah, sure. Definitely it is so. And while I don't see more answers to the chat, I can say from my experience, what I faced with is that some developers, for example, may think that, okay, business analyst is a person who communicates with delivery manager, with customers, product owners, CEOs. So maybe it's such a, I don't know, very important person, some kind of manager. I shouldn't disturb business analysts. Yeah, sometimes I face such understanding of business analysts. It's like some kind of manager. Sometimes what I also faced is that, especially with new developers in the team or less experienced developers, they think that if they don't understand requirements, so they will ask developers, they will ask quality assurance engineers, but not business analysts. We don't want to disturb. Okay, we can see more answers in the chat. Yeah, so sometimes they may think that your knowledge is not enough, so they better ask some more experienced person. Thank you, Anastasia, for your answer that BA may demonstrate to the team that their questions are not very smart. Of course, yeah, sometimes it may happen, so please don't do that. Okay, guys, thank you very much that you are so proactive sending your answers to the chat. So while you're doing that, I continue with my presentation. What may help if they're shy or afraid of business analysts? Of course, always facilitate discussion, even if everyone silent or saying that, okay, we understand requirements clearly, just do this facilitation, because believe me, I never ever seen such a situation when a developer receives the user story, for example, asks no question because it's okay, it's understandable, I know everything, and he just does the story and everything goes 100% fine. Every time there are some questions, but this question will appear on the stage when, for example, developer did the job and quality assurance engineer start to test, and okay, there are some cases that nobody was thinking about, for example, or developer understood one way or quality assurance engineer understood another way. So always facilitate discussion. And of course, encourage asking questions and do proposals, because for some people, it's very hard to speak up, to unmute themselves and say, I have a question, I have an opinion. So if you see that every meeting, only one, for example, developer says something and other are just silent, you can ask, okay, Peter, what's your opinion? Or Jack, what's on your mind? What do you think about that? Yeah, Pavel, do you agree with the Peter, for example? So just encourage them asking questions. And of course, remind them what are your objectives. And what is next? Show that you are the real person, not just a role. So sometimes people don't communicate with us because they don't see us as people. So it's just some kind of role. And if they have some relationship, I mean, they know all the team, and it's either they know all the families, friends, they communicate after the work, and it's easier for them to call to other developers, to quality assurance engineers, then call or ask you questions if they don't know anything about you. Okay, so the next case is that developers are inexperienced. So I touched a bit this topic when I was talking about the previous case. And of course, make sure that they don't communicate with you because they're afraid you or they're shy. Yeah, so we talked about that on the previous slide. What else we can do with inexperienced developers? It depends. Why are they inexperienced? Yeah, so anyway, it's not your responsibility to make them more experienced, but what business analysts can do, pay more attention during onboarding. So me and my team, we are working with very complicated and huge application where onboarding is not just something nice to have, it's necessary, and it's very complicated to understand this application. So what we did, we recorded some onboarding sessions where we show the application, explain business cases, and me as business analyst took part in that. And of course, developers, some more experienced developers recorded their onboarding sessions for newcomers. So you as business analyst, of course, you may think that I know everything here and maybe it's so easy, so newcomers will understand as well. But just pay attention on onboarding and explain the requirements, explain the product, explain the application, even if developers are not newcomers, but you see that they don't understand. So just organize some onboarding sessions and do your best. Prepare more detailed documentation. So sometimes when business analyst, for example, works with experienced team for a long time, they understand each other with less words, and you don't have to explain all the steps how you can reach some functionality in the application or some preconditions or some, I don't know, some information about the product, some business rules. So for inexperienced developers, it may help just to prepare more detailed documentation, even if business analysts think that it doesn't worth it. And of course, don't take extra responsibility, because sometimes when developers sees that you're eager to help, you're eager to explain something, explain requirements, prepare more detailed documentation, they start to ask you some technical questions like, in what class should I do the adjustments? Yeah. I don't know, what error code should I use for this validation? So I don't think this is the responsibility of business analysts. So you can send such developer to the development team so they can discuss these things. So you don't waste your time, and developers will understand these questions within development team easier. Okay, good. So this case, I think the most probably complicated for business analysts when developers don't read requirements. It's such painful situation when you tried your best, you communicated with customers, you created the great documentation, you provided all the details in user stories, but then developers don't read requirements. And of course, you cannot force another person to read requirements. But what you can do in this case, if it's possible, try to discuss one-to-one what are the reasons they don't read. Because sometimes, and this is like some of the next bullet points, it may appear that some of developers don't know where requirements are stored. I know that you may be laughing right now about this case, but yes, I face such situations when people are working for a long time on a project and they don't know where they can find some Confluence pages. Even if you like, I don't know, linking to user stories, they don't understand that. They don't know how to navigate on Confluence stories to find out more. Yeah, and also make sure requirements are easy to find, to read and understand, because sometimes business analysts may think that, okay, everything is understandable. I provided information in a well-structured way. Sometimes developers would appreciate if you elaborate with them on the approach which is better for the team and easier for them to understand. The next one is my favorite, share responsibility to present the story, for example, on internal grooming. So this trick I used with some of our developers because I had several teams I was communicating with, and one of the team, they never like were preparing for internal groomings. They never read requirements and stories in advance. They didn't discuss properly them on internal groomings. They just were fine with everything. They started then, took some stories to sprint, start to develop. And after that, oh my God, so many questions appeared. And because of that team was 100% backend team, and they did kind of complicated work, me and team leader discussed some new approach how we can be ready for internal groomings, and we like made every developer responsible for one user story, like first user story for this developer, second user story for this developer, third user story for this developer. We never like were able to discuss more than 3 user stories during internal groomings. So they got these stories in advance, like 2 weeks advance or 3 weeks advance, so they can plan their time. And it was a great success, you know. First of all, we found out one person who, even after that, didn't read stories, didn't wasn't prepared for internal groomings, and actually it was like the beginning of the end. So after some weeks, the team just asked, so we don't want this developer anymore. But it wasn't the aim of this tip. But 2 other developers were very collaborative. They were very inspired. They presented these stories during the groomings. They were so happy that they could find so many questions, and they could discuss these questions with all the team. And of course, some other questions that we couldn't discuss on internal groomings, we then asked on groomings with customers. And this was a success, really. So if you never ever tried such a trick with your developers, just try. I hope you like it. The next point is to discuss the situation during retrospective. If you're able to share some statistics of defects, of change requests, which happened because of developers didn't read requirements properly, you can share the statistics. Because when we say, guys, please read requirements, it's just words. But when you share statistics, they may start to think about that. And if never helps, the last point I liked less, but sometimes you have to escalate this to the team leader if nothing helps, because on my experience, I had very funny case when I was writing stories, and after some time I found out that developer did only what was in the header. So what I put to the header of the story, so that he did. He never like read description of the story, acceptance criteria, and so on. And I was like, oh my God, how it's possible? But it was like his strong opinion that everything that has to be done in the story fits to the header of the story. So no comment about that. Okay. So we were quite quick, and I think this is the last slide with the common advices. So everything I said before, of course, you can use this, but some more tips. Be a real person, not just a role. So how you can show that you're a real person, because right now we're all working online. Sometimes we even never meet with each other. So first of all, turn on your camera. I know sometimes sometimes we get used to not turn it on. Personally, me, it's like the one person in my team who turns on the camera, like, I don't know, not 100%, but very, very often. Other guys, they prefer not to turn it on, but even in such situation, I continue turning it on, even if I'm only the one person on the meeting with the camera. Give some information about yourself. So let people know, I don't know, anything that you would like to share. In which city do you live? What is the weather outside? What is your favorite sport? How did you spend your vacation or your weekend? Anything which is you would like to share, just share. Have a small talk in the beginning of the meeting. So what we did in our team, so our daily starts at 10:35 a.m. But people usually are connecting 5 minutes before, like 10:30. And these 5 minutes are enough so people can communicate, ask how was your weekend, how was your day before, what are your plans for today, what is the weather, and blah, blah, blah. So it's a really nice, just these 5 minutes, see personality behind the role. So it's like point number one, but other side of point number one. So even if you never meet these people, if you don't know anything about them, if you don't want to know about anything about themselves, just understand that we are all people, and there also people with their, I don't know, their hopes, their dreams, their families, their careers, anything. So try to remember something about each team member and use this in conversation, because sometimes people say, okay, I was driving yesterday with my dog to the vet. So you can ask, how's your dog? Yeah, or you can ask, how was your vacation? Point number 3, people want to be recognized. So for developers, it is very hard to be recognized because like they doing their job. For example, they don't participate in demo session. For example, they are not demoing stories. Okay, so how can they be recognized? So of course, that all the stories were accepted in the end of the sprints. You may think, okay, guys, you did great job, but you can say thank you. You can say thank to all the team, and you can say thank you for every person, every developer. You can try to admit even small achievements, even small contribution, and say it not only in one-to-one, or even for bigger audience, when you have dailies, when you have retrospectives, when you have some, I don't know, project meetings, some, I don't know, project demos, you can say thank you. And of course, people want to be a part of something great. I think we had some answers very similar to this topic, because nobody wants to be just a small part of the project. People want to understand that they, I don't know, do some great product. So this product somehow influences people's life. This product is somehow used by users and they, for example, like it. So you as a business analyst, you're the person who has the access to such information, because you may attend some management meetings, you can get some customer satisfaction surveys. So be generous, share this information with the team, share customers' feedback, users' feedback, so they could understand that they're really a part of something great. Okay, so that was the last slide. Thank you very much for all of you that you being a part of this meeting today. If you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to ask. Yeah.
Thank you, Nadzeya. It was a wonderful presentation. I love it. It was very, very, very good.
Thank you, Francisco.
Thanks for the audience that have put so many comments. Please feel free to put the questions to Nadzeya answer. We have some minutes. In the meanwhile, don't forget to rate the event and say thank you to the speaker. I sent the link in the comments, and we have our first question. Nadzeya, while you're as a BA are new to the team and dev team are quite experienced and the product demands strong functional knowledge, how should BA gain trust from dev team, convince them that while you while you are still learning, you are here to help them, request help from dev team, and finally how to stay motivated?
Okay. Pallavi, thank you very much for this question, really. It is very complicated situation for a business analyst that you are not experienced, but they are more experienced. So in this case, of course, I think that honesty is the best policy. So just admit that thing that you are not experienced in this field, because they will see this, maybe not in the beginning, but then, and you can say, okay, guys, so I'm not experienced as you, but my role is to do next things, yes, to help you with requirements gathering, with understanding priorities, with communicating with product owners, for example, and at least I can start with some things that I can do good or better than some team members, not because I want to show myself as a very experienced person, but to take this, I don't know, this responsibility from the team, so they can have free time. They don't have to do that. And you can start that like step by step. So what was more, gain trust from development team. So you are not saying that you have a good knowledge, but you can show that you are a great BA, because, for example, even when you organize meetings, when you facilitate discussion, how you provide some meeting notes, how you structure the requirements, you can do this really great even if you're not experienced. So they will understand that you are a good business analyst. Yes, convince them you are here to help them. So you're here to help them not with the with the knowledge, but with the processes. Yes, we're setting up processes. How to request help from development team. So okay, you can just discuss with all the team, or just separately with team leader. Look, I can do this by myself, like, I don't know, spending 1 day or 3 days, I don't know. Or because you are more experienced, you understand how to get this information, you can spend 1 hour. So what right now is the priority for the team? So I could spend 3 days solving the issues, helping the team, or you spend 1 hour. And sometimes the answer is, I don't want to help you. Okay, spend these 3 days. Okay, so this is their answer. But sometimes they understand, okay, I just spent like 30 minutes, 1 hour to help, and it will be a good collaboration. So for me, is that communication is always the key for that, and especially not a writing communication when you write messages or you write emails, but communication through some calls, one-to-one calls or team calls, so you can ask this help. Finally, how to stay motivated. Yeah, so it's a big question for business analysts to stay motivated, because at the end of the day, everyone may say that team like did everything by themselves. It's not because of your help or your experience. So personally, yourself, how do you think? Did you do your job good? Did you try your best? If yes, then I think it's a good way to motivate yourself. If you can see what is your progress, because sometimes we're sitting and thinking, oh my God, I still don't know this application. I still have difficulties with communicating with the team. I'm a bad business analyst, or this project is bad, or everything is bad. Okay. But try to put some notes from your first day, like you started, and see your progress, what you was able to do at the first day, what you was able to do after 1 week, after 2 weeks, after months. And then you will see that you're becoming better understanding of this domain. You're becoming better to collaborate with the team. And this is also very motivating and inspiring. And in the end of the day, if nothing helps, I think you can ask your, I don't know, some your community, business analyst community, or some other community to support you, because we very often share with our like good days. We shared what we did well, and it may influence our minds that, okay, everyone around are successful, they deal successfully with their teams, and I'm the only one person who is not motivated, who cannot collaborate with developers. No, believe me, if you share your situation with the community, you will find the great support. Okay, I hope that I answered this big question, because I also see some more. So I would like to spend some more time answering other questions. If you think that you would like to discuss more, you can reach me and we can discuss it after this meeting. What could you recommend in cases when developers skip the latest? Vasil, can you help me with understanding what is the abbreviation?
Acceptance criteria in user stories.
Okay. Thank you very much. If they skip the latest, what is the latest? You mean that you had some previous acceptance criteria and after that you updated user stories?
No. I mean, for example, when story may contain like more than 5 acceptance criteria, and as a result, for example, the 5th and 6th acceptance criteria will be skipped. Are skipped. Yeah.
You mean they don't read like till the end of the list?
Yeah.
Okay, so probably I will start with maybe one-to-one communication, just to understand how they actually read stories and how they use stories, because sometimes they may not do that, because if acceptance criteria are very similar to each other, for example, sometimes it happens, they may think that, okay, I'm trying to read all these texts and it's like everything is the same. So like I understand everything clearly and what I do will cover all the acceptance criteria. If it is so, then probably you may have spent more time during internal groomings to read this story, announce all the acceptance criteria, and say that every acceptance criteria, they are like separate criteria, they like separate 100% needed to be done, so they can understand that you're not just putting a lot of text. Yes. I don't know why, because I always believe in people, and I try not to believe that this person just skip it because. Maybe sometimes they just don't like to read a lot of texts. Even if it's because of they don't like to read a lot of text, try to think of how to provide these criteria in some other way, because sometimes when we put just text with bullet points, it's harder to understand. And we can, for example, do some, I don't know, table or some drawings, so they can understand it better, they can see it straight away, and it is easier for them to understand this. if this person does this from sprint to sprint, just reads everything but just doesn't do, and you tried everything I mentioned, I think it's right now it's not your responsibility. It's responsibility of the team leader or some, I don't know, delivery manager, why this person does this. Because quality assurance engineer, they will read all the acceptance criteria and they will prepare the test cases, and in the end of the day, everyone will know that this is not done and this is not done, and I don't know, it will lead to other user story carryover, so you don't close it in the sprint, or it will lead to defects. Nobody from management and nobody like a team leader wants to be this way. So I would start from the understanding how this person reads the story, and maybe somehow you can elaborate together how it's better to provide acceptance criteria. I hope you answered I answered your question.
So we are almost without time, but before we going, I want to share with our audience that the questions that will not be answered, Nadzeya will answer by email or message after this when she has some time. But in 2 minutes, we have a question left in our page of the event that says they ask it for what if you have a challenge you are facing right now and how you are overcome him.
You mean I facing challenges right now? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now I facing challenge that we have several teams, and some of the teams are customer teams. So like they treat their teams different way, not as EPAM teams. I think you understand what I mean. So the EPAM teams have to do their work like better, faster, with less defects than their own teams. But I am like a business analyst for all of them. And the challenges I face that EPAM teams like reading requirements, implement requirements, but customer teams, I don't know, they don't understand requirements. They work very, very slowly, like moving stories from sprint to sprint. They don't elaborate. They don't speak up. So like everything what I provided you today, like every day I motivate myself not to be angry, not to be sad with all the situation, just doing my work every day, explaining to those teams priorities, explaining them requirements, explaining them how it is important to be on time in release. Yes. So I think this is my personal challenge, just to be able to work with different teams distributed among different time zones, different cultures, different, I don't know, when different requirements are set to different teams. So how I handle it, I just do my work every day, you know. That's how I do. Okay. So,
Nadzeya, thank you so much. We are out of time now, but the other questions that are here will be responded by Nadzeya. And thank you so much for this presentation. It was very, very good. I hope everyone has liked it as much as I do. And see you next time, Nadzeya. Thank you so
very
much.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.